Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 10 of Levitated. We've made it to the double digits. Huzzah. Last video, we set up our deep mob learning simulation stuff here to both produce polymer clay and the things that consume it. And the end product here is that now we have almost fully automated the production of everything you see on this drawer wall here. The one exception is that the lapis that goes into here is manually supplied, and when it gets used up, we have to mine more for now. Today, I would like to do something about that. So, I've recently added another mob to the simulations. I put our Enderman back inside, so we have an Enderman simulation chamber here and an Enderman loot fabricator making ender pearls. That's because we need that to make endstone. So I added a couple more crafters. These are also connected via controller slaves to see the entire drawer system. So this one makes sandstone, and this one will make endstone. And I need the ender pearls to make this endstone. Now I could technically go mining all the endstone around me, but eventually we run out of mined endstone. So this provides another source of endstone, a theoretically infinite source of endstone, as long as we have ender pearls and sand and extraterrestrial matter. All right. So all we have to do now is take this endstone and turn it into lapis. So the endstone can be turned into a number of different ores with the orchid endium, and most of these are actually at least somewhat useful. All we have to do is turn the endstone into ore, mine the ore, and when we get lapis, I thought, does this JEI tab give us ratios? I guess it's either they're all weighted the same or it doesn't display ratios. I don't know. Either way, this will generate at least some end lapis ore for us, hopefully enough that we never have to add input to our system. All right, so step one then, let's make ourselves the orchid endium. The trouble in here is that it takes 2 tier 3 runes. Everything else here, the dragon's breath, the pixie dust, whatever, we can make. But we can't quite do tier 3 runes yet. All tier 3 runes require a tier 1 rune, which we have all the tier 1 runes, and a tier 2 rune. So to make these, we need spring and summer. I was kind of hoping the two of them would use the same rune, but no luck. While we're at it, actually, let's just look at all the Britannia tier 2 runes. The tier 1s are the 4 elements and mana. At least I call mana a tier 1 rune. It might not strictly be, but there's the 4 runes of the 4 elemental runes. Tier 2 are the 4 seasonal runes. So we have spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And then tier 3 are the 7 deadly sins. So lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, and pride. Most of these are the tier 3s are mostly only used in small quantities and like one-offs to make, the various flowers. Whereas the tier 1s are used a bit more just for like useful little gadgets in Britannia. So anyways, let's try to make some of all of the tier 3 or tier 2 runes. We might not be able to do some of them, like the rune of winter here. No, we can make snow, right, from the pure daisy. So yeah, we can make snow for the pure daisy. We can make these. We can make cake now because we have eggs from the chicken farm. Let's take a quick look. Autumn should have no trouble with that. Leaves come from trees. Spider eyes can be crafted from overworld matter. Summer, we just have to grow a melon. Trivial. Spring is any saplings. Trivial. And yeah, okay. So let's make a handful of each of these. It's really nice that when you craft on the runic altar using runes, you get the input runes back 100% of the time. So like this recipe here, well, all rune recipes above tier 1 use tier 1 or tier 2 runes as input. You get these back. So the real cost of a tier 2 rune is 3 saplings, a piece of wheat, a little bit of mana, and the time it takes to craft on the altar. So runes above, in that sense, tier 1 runes are actually the most expensive in terms of amount of input, right? Like you destroy the most items to make tier 1 runes relative to the others. Oh, this interesting tidbit. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna gather up materials and make some of this. Oh, that's a wool. Sneaky. I'm gonna gather up materials and make some of each of these runes. Make the cakes that go into the winter runes. I need milk, which obviously comes from cows. So I'm gonna need to summon some cows. The cow summoning has a 90% chance to make a cow and a 10% chance to make a cow. So I guess that means it's a 100% chance to make a cow. Maybe one of these is like a different cow. I don't know. Anyways, it uses some basic stuff. All of this stuff we have. I had to make some of this organic dye, but that was no big deal. The only thing is that the monster jerky takes 5 minutes to craft. So we're 80% there, but that means I still have another minute of waiting to do. But by the magic of video editing, 1 minute for me is like 10 seconds for you. All right, finish up, please. I need 2 of these and go. I'm gonna make 2 cows so that we can breed them, but I can't imagine our cow demand is gonna be particularly high in this pack. Still, let's dig them a little hole right here. Cows, enjoy your new home. 1 cow, and does this use up the bucket? I guess it does. I don't get my bucket back. All right, fine. 1 cow, 2 cow. That's a weird sound that spawns them. But anyways, now we can go. I also made a little bit of snow. That's, well, I made a little bit of actual snow with the pure daisy. And to produce more snow, I want to make a snowman. So I think if I do this and that should give me a very not trapped snowman that's very angry at the Enderman. Well, he's probably going to get himself killed when he hits an Enderman. Where's my lasso? Please don't upset an Enderman. Let's trap him for real now. Apparently I don't understand how iron bars work. Stay. Now we have a snowman, and then we can just farm his snow. If I get a slightly faster shovel, this will probably be easier. But an infinite source of snow. This can be turned back into water or something. Although realistically speaking, I can just make water with the Ender Isle reservoir. But still. Now, infinite snow, infinite water. Woohoo. I'm now ready to craft the first of our runes, but let's replace that mana spreader with an elven one, just to speed this up a little bit, and put a potency lens on that to speed that up a little bit more. I'll link that to this, and we can start crafting. Alright. So that's water, earth, wool, 2 snow, and a cake. This crafting speed is, well, I guess we didn't compare it to the crafting speed of just a basic mana spreader, but I suspect it's at least twice as fast. Anyways, get me some living rock. And then put the living rock on, complete the craft. That was loud. Repeat. So I'm going to do this for all the runes, and I don't expect we'll run into any hiccups anymore. All these other materials we already have. So I will see you when the rune crafting is done. I've made 4 each of the tier 2 runes, so now just the tier 3s. I don't typically pre-craft all the tier 3 runes, I just craft the ones I need at any given time. So, for now we need greed and pride. There's a nice thing about these tier 3 runes is that they're actually super easy to make. All the tier 3 runes use 2 mana diamonds, a tier 1 and a tier 2 rune. So really the cost is just 2 mana diamonds. But let me just see, it's fire and water, spring and summer. So spring, summer, water, fire, and a number of mana diamonds. These also craft a little bit slower than the tier 2s, owing to using a little bit more mana, but it's not a huge difference. So there's one of those, and then, let's see, what is it? Water and spring, and one of these. Toss our hard-earned runes into the Petal Apothecary, which does actually consume them, unlike the altar. Is that right? And then the seeds. There we go, an orchid ingot. So this converts any end stone around it into ores. If I plant it here, it'll automatically link to the nearest mana pool, and in fact, it's probably already draining a mana pool pretty quick. When you hear it make that sound, it's converting one of the nearby ores one of the nearby end stone into ore. It's a little difficult to use if we just place it here. Like one of them did this, but it has like a 4 or 5 block range. But what that means is that it just ends up converting a bunch of underground end stone into ore. That's not very useful. So instead, we're going to end up probably floating it either off the ground or over the void. I haven't decided yet. But before we can use it, we also saw how much mana it uses. I believe numerically it uses 17,500 mana per ore. For reference, each piece of coal generates 1.5 mana per tick of burn time, I believe. It generates 3 mana per 2 ticks of burning. So that's 1.5 mana per tick. But it also only generates mana for half of the burn time. I don't know. It doesn't generate a lot of mana, is my point. If we were to try to generate 17,500 mana per like 2 or 3 seconds, basically the rate that the orchid runs using just endo flames, we're going to need like 10, way more than 10, like 100 maybe. 100 would be close. So actually, no. 100, each endo flame generates 1.5 mana per tick. Here, I'll do some back with the napkin math real quick. If we work off the assumption that the orchid uses 17,500 mana every 5 seconds, it takes 150 endo flames to keep up with it. So we're going to have to generate mana slightly better than that. For this, I want to use the Entropinium. This is a flower that can generate quite a bit of mana. It uses the Wrath rune, so I'll have to craft some of these. The Entropinium generates mana by absorbing TNT explosions. That is, if a TNT were to explode within a certain distance of it, I don't know the exact range, it will absorb the explosion. The explosion will not go off, it will not damage blocks, yada yada yada. Instead, it will generate mana, specifically 7,500 mana. So it takes about a bit over 2.5 explosions worth of mana to for one Entropinium to generate enough mana for one orchid event. That's just kind of to show that the orchid uses a tremendous amount of mana. But what we can do is set up a system that detonates a lot of TNT. Now, the Entropinium will not generate mana if the TNT goes off in water. So we can't detonate it in water, but we can detonate it in a way that even if the explosion isn't absorbed, it won't destroy the flower. That's kind of the trick here. So step 1, let's craft some of these. Let's start with 4. Might need more later, but they're, pretty easy to make. 1 Entropinium. 2. I love this right click to refill thing. It makes manual crafting so much easier. 3 and 4. Cool. These have to be normally planted on dirt. One of the problems with dirt is that it doesn't take much of an explosion to damage it, like to break it. So when working with Entropiniums, I like to convert them to the floating variant. To make floating flowers, craft any flower. I think, do we have to make them glimmering first? Yeah, we do. All right, so take any flower, craft them with glowstone to make them into glimmering flowers. So I need 4 total. Then take these, craft them with dirt and, where is it? Pasture seeds to make floating flowers. And then you can turn these are just decorative floating flowers into functional floating flowers by crafting them with the flower itself. All right, so we have floating Entropiniums. This has the advantage of having the blast resistance of the Entropinium instead of the dirt, and the flower itself is significantly more blast resistant than the dirt. All right, now to set up a constant stream of TNT explosions. For this, I'm going to use a TNT duper. I just think that's more fun to set up than just setting, up a TNT automation. But TNT automation is not particularly difficult in this pack. Sand comes from a cobblestone generator. Gunpowder comes from crafting coal, which comes from DML, with overworld matter, which comes from DML. You can also do creeper sims, but this requires us to do a Gaia Guardian fight to attune a creeper model. So, I'm meh, whatever. I'd rather not have to fight a Gaia Guardian quite yet. So I'm just going to set up the duper instead. And I think I'm going to set it up such that the TNT falls onto an obsidian platform for safety. That means that no matter what happens, the TNT won't, carve a hole into my base. I don't want that. Secondarily, that means that we can relatively easily control where the explosions are going off, so that we can control where we get the mana at. I'm gonna put it, let's put it up there somewhere. TNT duper has to, it can only dupe lit TNT entities, so we can't make TNT blocks and place them wherever we like. But working with the entities is, we need lit TNT entities for this anyways, so it works out well. I'm just gonna check one thing. I saw that Botania Tweaks is in the pack. I just want to make sure that it's Okay, this is what I was checking. Will it accept duped TNT? The answer is no. I think I know how to trick this mod, but I'm going to consider that an exploit, considering that it's explicitly says do not accept duped TNT. In that case, I'm going to change my mind. We're going to make crafted TNT to set off with the aforementioned DML crafted sand and gunpowder. So take this down. The build's a little bit simpler using crafted TNT because you can literally light crafted TNT, wherever you like. So it's just a matter of not wasting it. Because while I don't mind wasting dupe TNT, I would like to not waste crafted TNT. The reason this setup is easier when you're actually making TNT items is that you can dispense lit TNT with a dispenser, and if you dispense it into a piece of obsidian, it will do explosion damage, but it won't damage it. It actually might not do explosion damage. But it definitely will not damage blocks. So you don't have to worry about the blocks getting damaged. You can put this right here, and let's just see. Right now it has no mana in it. If we set off the explosion, I want to make sure it will absorb mana from explosions like that. Yeah, we see that now it has a full bar of mana. If I give it a mana spreader, then we can have the mana spreader shoot its mana really anywhere. If I link that mana spreader to one of these mana pools, I think it'll try to shoot mana, but it might be, no, the mana's getting blocked. But the explosion instantly fills up the Entropinium's mana internal bar, and the Entropinium will not be ready to absorb another mana or another explosion until its bar empties. So in that sense, the faster we can extract mana from it, the faster it'll be ready for another mana burst. But let me get a mana pool. I should have a spare. No, I guess I don't have a spare. We can just make one then. And I kind of just want to see about how long it takes to empty it, because if it's an incredibly long time, we're gonna, well, obviously this is a basic mana spreader. Link that. Yeah, this is just a basic spreader, but the higher tier the mana spreader, like higher tier mana spreaders are just faster, and we can put lenses on it to make it faster. But point is, Entropinium has now emptied all its mana there, which means if I set off another explosion, boom, it'll generate more mana. I am a little bit curious just to make sure how much, like, that the Entropinium produces 7,500 mana per explosion. We have 2 explosions worth of mana sent into this pool. There's a tiny bit stuck in the spreader. I've added all that to the mana tablet, and if we can't look at the MBT, like the value of the MBT tag, because there's no actually additions installed, but we can use the craft tweaker command. So that's like 13,000 plus what's left in there. So it might not make 7,500 mana per explosion. It might be 6.5. Either way, if it's 6.5, it just means we need more explosions per ore we produce. Still, that's fine. But this is just a proof of concept setup. I'm going to move it and probably swap out the mana spreaders to somewhere closer to our TNT generation. I moved it here right by our TNT production. The dispenser, I believe, is right above this obsidian block, so, such that hitting that lever should set off a piece of TNT. And then I have, yeah, that's the right block. And then I have 4 Entropiniums here, each one linked to a mana spreader of its own. The mana spreaders have potency lenses to make them spread mana faster. These are only elven ones. There is 1 tier higher, but we have to fight the Gaia Guardian for it. One thing I want to test now is about how many seconds, or ticks, or whatever, does it take for 1 mana spreader to do its thing. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so I guess, ooh, with 4 Entropiniums, we can absorb 1 explosion a second. Is that true? Let me, if we can absorb mana that fast, that actually makes a timer a lot simpler, because the redstone clock here is a 1 second timer. So if I, let's get another leveler so I can turn off the clock, but I don't want explosions anymore. But, yeah, we don't have to do anything fancy to make a 1 second redstone clock that will shut off when given a redstone signal. Botania has a redstone clock in it with the dance timer or something like that. File. What's it called? hourglass of something. This thing, the hovering hourglass. It's a tunable timer. You put a fixed, you set it based on how much sand you put in it, but it has a somewhat, it does not natively shut off. We'll give it a redstone signal. So if you want to shut it off, you have to do it some other way. Whereas if this thing, in fact, let's just replace the block under that dispenser. I built all this on obsidian just for safety, but there's no meaningful chance, I think, of an accident. So anyways, that should set off one explosion a second. Can we absorb all of that? No, we cannot. Okay, so we need a slightly slower timer than that. I mean, we get most of it. Why don't I actually? I'll just add, like, 2 more Entropiniums. That way we can absorb all the mana that is being generated from one explosion a second. The slight trouble with that is I don't think we can afford to make a piece of TNT every second, but what'll happen is this mana pool will fill up. I'll set up a system to detect when the mana pool is full and just stop. When the mana pool is full, we can turn things off. I can put a spreader above and beneath it. That'll give us, well, give me a second to think this through how exactly I want to lay this out. After some thought, I came to the conclusion that it's probably easier, instead of trying to jam more flowers and more mana spreaders around, just to upgrade to the Gaia mana spreader, which means we have to kill the Gaia Guardian. I'm expecting that will not be too difficult, but I've underestimated the Gaia Guardian enough times recently that we're going to make some preparations. So first of all, I upgraded our food to golden apples. Nom 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 nom. These are great because we can eat them even while our health is, like, while our saturation is full, or while our food is full, whatever, for more saturation. So that's good. Armor wise, I think I'm going to empower our gear, and then I'm thinking about maybe making the incense stick of regeneration 2. It's not that hard to make. We just have to make a botanical brewery, and this will give us regen 2 in an area while we fight the Gaia Guardian. So that seems good too. How about we try it once without the regen and see how much I regret that decision. So bow, arrow, maybe a few more arrows maybe. Is there a multi-shot enchant? There is a multi-shot enchant in this pack. Can't make it, unfortunately, because I can't craft these yet. So I guess I'll enchant my gear, enchant my bow, empower this stuff, charge it up to give it, I believe when empowered, it has diamond level protection. So we'll have decent armor, good food, and a halfway decent weapon. In order to make these dark steel upgrades, first we have to craft the thing, and then I think we just right click it to dump some of our EXP into it. So we see we have 25 levels, now we have 21 levels. Puts 4 levels into it for these the higher tier ones use different amounts of EXP. But anyways, then we can shift right click this and put it into our armor as well as our leggings. Very good. So does that, it doesn't say that it has more tough armor or toughness yet. Maybe it doesn't give more effective armor. I don't know. Let me try charging these up. I should actually just make a capacitor, huh? Oh yeah, that's trivial to make. Let's make some capacitors too. With Botania in the pack, it's pretty easy to set up a max level enchanter. Just place 4 mana pylons around a enchanting table, and that should get it to max. So I'll grab some of the lapis we left out. No, I didn't put all my lapis in that drawer for a reason. And enchant our gear. Let's see. That is already enchanted, so fire protection, blast protection. I suppose those are fine. What I really want is... Oh, we also have to get to level 30. To do so, that's what all this experience is for. But which one do we not use for other things? I guess extraterrestrial we have the most of. I think overworldian we use... Well, we use extraterrestrial for endstone. We use a bit of all of it, I guess. Whatever. 33 left. I'm going to take another stack with me. Overworld gives the most EXP, so we will eat that. Alright. Enchant... Well, let's see what we have. Unbreaking is fine. Unbreaking is fine. And, okay, I guess we're just not breaking today. Let's put it on the chest because it's the most damaged. Sure. I really want multi-shot. Really want repellent. That makes enemies teleport away. Really want multi-shot. Power. Not the worst. Protection. I'll take that. Alright, so I have a bunch of bows. I'm just gonna keep enchanting for a little while and see if we can get a multi-shot bow. Multi-shot is really good against the Gaia Guardian, which is why I want it. Infinity? Infinity power and multi-shot? Or just infinity? Feel it. I don't feel it. Soulbound. Withering? Maybe we can't get multi... Oh, multi-shot might only be able to go on COFH bows. Are COFH bows even enabled? The thermal bows? Let's try it on this bow. I think multi-shot is one of those enchantments that while it goes on bows, it can't go on every bow. So it's specific to the thermal bows. I could be wrong. First of our diamond bows. Still no good. It's bound to show up eventually, right? We can only get unlucky so many times in a row. Maybe. Okay, whatever. If I don't get it on these last couple, I'm down to just say I will accept not having multi-shot on my bow. Despite it being very good in this fight. Nope. Didn't get it. Oh well. I'm not actually sure which is better, an empowered dark bow or a diamond bow. I think they have the same draw speed, right? So yeah, I don't know which one does more damage. And I can't really... I could test on this guy, but I don't think he survives either of them. Can't test on Enderman. Don't really have great things to test on. Thanks for volunteering to be a test subject. So, power 4 on both of these. The diamond bow one-shots it. Good. Well, if you don't one-shot them, we know who wins. Now we've learned absolutely nothing. I'll just use the diamond bow because it has punch on it as well, I guess. But anyways, the dark armor does have more protection on it when it is empowered. So I'm pretty sure that matches diamond. 2.8 and 2.6. Yep. It's diamond level when empowered, so good enough. This is probably charged enough, right? Well, I'll let that charge while we set up the rest of the Gaia Guardian. So we need... To fight the Gaia Guardian, we need a piece of Terra Steel and a beacon. Let's start with the beacon. I expect we need more glass and another star. Alright, well, this is a good time to check on this system here. We should be swimming in nether stars. Let's see if that is true. Flip the switch so I don't wither myself, and yep, we got plenty. In fact, give me 37 of them. Turn that back on. And dang it! And then we'll make some glass. Whatever. I thought I was out of range. So, here's the beacon. And then make 1 ingot of Terra Steel. Does this mana pool have enough in it? That looks to be half-ish, right? Let's double check. If I need more, I can obviously... That's not half. I can yoink some of the mana from here. Turn you on briefly. Because this fills up... I mean, this fills up super duper fast. We could probably fill up the entire mana pool in 3 minutes, 2 minutes at this current rate. I realized that the way I was doing the explosions before wasn't 100% safe. The explosion that goes off, the periodic explosion that does not get absorbed can go off, which will cause the other entities to get launched around, and that'll cause it'll cause them to get knocked out of the obsidian block. So I think adding more obsidian makes it safe. If in doubt, add more obsidian, right? But for now, I just have enough. Once we make it such that 100% of the explosions get absorbed, then it will definitely be 100% safe. So anyways, get up to half a mana pool. And good enough. And then craft. People have told me that you can actually click. Where's my mana diamond? People have told me that you can click the click the items onto the plate as opposed to having to throw them onto the plate. My whole life, I've thrown items onto the plate. Let's see if that works. Huh, would you look at that? Oh, I have to switch a plate back. Right now it's, I switch it over to make something or another. I have to switch these underlying blocks back to the Mana Steel version, or the Terra Steel version. And Terra Steel time. Pretty soon we can start using that mana to make Terra Steel, which means it's a lot more mana. So more mana naturally makes Terra Steel faster. But give me 1 ingot. Now if we lose a fight, this ingot gets destroyed. So I kind of would like to not lose a fight. We could do that, maybe. I noticed that the golden apple gives me regen 2 when I eat it. Don't golden apples normally give you regen 1? Am I mistaken? Because it's supposed to heal you for 2 hearts from the regen effect, as well as give 2 absorption, right? But I don't know. Regen 2 just sounds like it's too good. Oh no, hold on. No, that's regen 3 that gives very fast healing, isn't it? Not actually sure. Is there a regen 3? Apparently regeneration goes to 4. I guess we can distill down I don't understand potions, man. Forget it. We get regen 2 and that's what I get. Anyways, beacon, Terra Steel, all we need now is a place to do the fight. So it needs a relatively large flat area. And this here looks like a relatively large flat area, doesn't it? It might not be large enough. Let's set this aside and see if it'll let us begin the fight. Nope. No matter how hard... Oh, right. I forgot the rest of the thing. we need more than just a beacon. We need 4 pylons. Gaia pylons. Does this need more Terra Steel? No, it doesn't. Put the pylons in the 4 places it asks for, and now we just have to flatten this out a little bit more. So I like how this version of Britannia, and basically all recent version of Britannias, highlight exactly which blocks you have to remove. It definitely eliminates the guessing game of figuring out what's wrong with your arena. But I've definitely had that problem before, where it's like it doesn't accept your arena, but it also doesn't tell you why. So let's bind our food in our offhand, a sword, a bow, and maybe get a few more arrows for good measure. Where'd you go, snowman? What happened, dude? Who knows? But anyways, he keeps throwing snowballs at Enderman he can't hit. Whatever. No? Still no? Alright, this should do it. So let's eat an apple to start us off. Is there a gluttony charm? Nope. Gluttony charm just lets you eat instantly. Are you serious? What's wrong now? Are you happy yet? Do I have to add blocks over here too? Alright. 17th time's the charm. There we go. A little loud. Alright. So this is going to be a little difficult because I have to not look at Enderman while doing this. But let's see if we can avoid pissing off Enderman to the point where I die. The tier 1 Gaia Guardian doesn't seem that bad, huh? He hasn't even hurt me yet. Which I find kind of strange. But now he's withered me. This hurts a little bit. When we hit the intermission, let's take a look at... We died. I thought I was still like full health. Mistakes were made. Alright, well, we need a new Terra Steel ingot. You'd think I'd stop underestimating the Gaia Guardian at some point. I even planned on making this stuff in case I died. I should have just made the stick from the beginning. But anyways, this here is the incense stick. So can I see the crafting progress here? Is it done, or is it just out of mana? No, it's just out of mana. Alright, let me move some more mana over to this mana pool. We'll craft the incense stick. We'll make another Terra Steel ingot and fight the Gaia Guardian again. This time with regen the whole time. I think what happened was my health slowly ticked down from the wither effect, and I kind of just ignored it because it looked like I was okay, and I wasn't. I'm just making excuses now. Yeah. Alright, anyways, let me get some more mana. New Terra Steel Ingot. There goes another half mana pool. It's alright, mana's pretty easy come, easy go now, so I'm not too sad over losing it. I'm just a little disappointed in myself for losing to the Gaia Guardian again. Let's give this another shot, this time with the incense. So the way it works is that place the incense plate down. Is this outside the range of the fight? I hope it is. I don't want the plate to block the fight starting. Place the incense stick in it and then light it with a flint and steel. There we go. And it burns for its stated burn time, giving the effect in, I believe it's like a beacon size radius, so 25-ish blocks. Let's see at what point we stop getting it. So I get it here. From here, I should get it in the entire arena, which is really all I care for. So that'll give us a regen 2, which is a heart every like second and a half-ish. And then we'll have fully saturated from apples to start. We can't lose this time, right? Not possible, he says. Oh shoot, is my incense blocking it? It is. All right, let's just move. Since I don't think once you light it, you can't like you can't unlight it. So let's just move everything over by a block or 2 blocks. I believe in me. We got it this time. We don't got it this time. Why? Probably. No, that's all inside. Oh, 1 block. Is that it? Is that literally the only block you're complaining about? I guess it was. Alright, Jimmy. No looking at Undermen. Don't look at the Undermen. Don't do it. But, as I was saying earlier, when we get to the intermission, I want to check to see if spiders spawn during it. Also, I want to actually keep an eye on my health. If it dips low, I have to eat. That's how you play Minecraft. Eat to heal. And I am taking damage now. Okay. So yeah, that is a pretty strong wither effect. So we get skeletons. Let's see if we can just kill with our sword. We get this might have been modified. I swear you get like witches during this phase too, and wither skeletons. But perhaps that was modified by. Oh no, there's a wither skeleton. We definitely get wither skeletons, regular skeletons. There's a witch, but no spiders, as I had feared. Kinda wanted spiders, because that would allow us to get string more easily through deep mob learning. But I don't think that's gonna happen. Also, there's a lot of mobs. I don't think I've ever been overwhelmed during this phase. But I generally also have better... I generally do this fight with slightly better armor and weapons than I am now. Could you stop, please? Could you die? Please? We did it. Against the odds, we somehow managed to beat the boss. That regen effect definitely was very huge. So that incense stick lasts for like 20 minutes. If I cared, I would do a couple more battles while it's up, but we got our 8 Gaia spirits off this. That's enough for now. We can make more later if needed. We probably need some better equipment, better weapons, better armor before we fight the second Gaia Guardian. Is there a way to see how much is left on it? No, and I don't think there's a way to take the incense off anymore, right? I think we're committed. Wow, we're a little pincushion here. So yeah, we can... there are a bunch of things we can do to make that fight easier. Botania offers a lot of better gear, flowers that can help you out, and stuff like that. But anyways, for now, all we have to do is take this and turn it into the mana spreader. So it uses the elven ones. All right, let me clean up my inventory a bit, and then we can go grab and upgrade our spreaders. 8 Gaia spirits from 1 boss is actually a great number. It gives us 4 for the spreader and 4 more to make a Gaia spirit ingot to fight the boss, the second level of the boss. Some other things we can do actually that might be pretty good. Make the fluo tiara. That's creative flight. Limited duration creative flight, but some creative flight is better than no creative flight. Still, I'll deal with that later. Let's, for now, come back here. We've upgraded our spreaders. And with this, I'm quite sure that we'll be able to run 100, like we'll be able to absorb 100% of the explosions that happens. Whoa, did you stay linked? Yeah, they stayed linked. Perfect. The Gaia spreader, off the top of my head, is like 2.5 times faster than the regular mana spreader. So let's hope that 100% of these explosions get absorbed into like the flowers. If we can go for more than a couple, I mean, the flower basically empty 100% of it into the spreader. It's conceivable that actually one flower, because looking at this, none of the flowers ever fill up their internal buffers. Oh wait, that one filled up briefly. I don't know. It definitely doesn't take all, so this one's the one doing all the work. And as you can see, it's able, so yeah, 2 flowers, I think, are enough to keep up with one explosion a second. But we fill a mana pool in a minute, maybe less. So this is excellent. This makes a lot of mana very, very quickly. Solved all of our mana problems from, you know, so we don't have to use that silly thing anymore. A couple things I want to do now before, what order do I want to do things first? We can fight let's hold off on fighting the boss again, maybe until tomorrow or the day after. I think I want to take this mana and now put it somewhere that it can be a bit more useful. I also want to hook up this to, you know, when this fills up, to automatically shut that off. So I believe if I just get redstone conduits, we can put a sensor upgrade. I should have redstone conduits already, right? We can put a sensor upgrade in it. No, I don't. And then that will act as a comparator. A comparator when connected to, is it a filter? I guess it has to be. A comparator when connected to the mana pool reads its fullness. So we can use that to detect when the mana pool is sufficiently full to shut off the lever, or to turn off the TNT explosions, whatever. The clock. On second thought, let's just use integrated dynamics redstone for this, because if we use the Ender Isle one, I don't think we can use that comparator and subtract them out very easily. So we have a redstone reader that reads the comparator value from the block. Right now it's 7. That's just straight up proportional to fullness. If I take that, that's about 7/15 full. Then what I want to do is, let's see, right at the bottom here, it's decision. I want to, actually, we're not at that point yet. We want to first do a comparator, so, or like a greater than check. Let's do greater than or equal to. Is the value we are reading off the comparator greater than or equal to the constant value of 14? Put that value into here. Actually, this is just a true or a false value, right? Oh, I guess that's it. It's a bit simpler than I thought. We want to put the variables we are comparing into an attached variable store. Don't need these. I was confusing myself. And then this will either output true or wait, it'll output true or false, but I think I actually want the other value. A outputted redstone signal turns off the thing. Well, yeah, that means if the comparator is greater than or equal to 14, turn it off. No, that's right. We can take this and now put it into here, and it'll emit a redstone signal if the mana pool is more than a certain amount full, right? More than 14/15 full. So put the clock here. That'll start the explosions. Kaboom, 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 kaboom. We'll be back in a minute or so when this mana pool is at 14/15 full. Currently at 13. And any second now, 14. And when it hits 14, this now is emitting a redstone signal, which should cause it to turn off. It is clearly not doing that. Why? And then once it fills up, it stops working. All right, stop. You're broken. Stop. What did I do wrong? Right, the redstone clock needs a strong redstone signal to turn off. So if I do this now, there we go. Now it does not does not cause explosions. So it'll go up to until the mana pool is basically full, but then it will stop exploding, so we don't do anything terrible and waste all of our TNT. But plenty of TNT to go around. It looks like it probably takes about 2 stacks to fill a mana pool. Maybe a bit more, I don't know, it's in that vicinity. But anyways, with that, we now have much higher volume mana being produced. Unfortunately, this episode has gone on horrifically long. I kind of lost track of time, so why don't we wrap up here today? We'll do the last step of setting up the orchid tomorrow. Sorry about that. We had to run in some circles to get some, you know, necessary things done, like making all the TNT. It ended up being a bit more challenging than I expected, having to fight the Gaia Guardian. But hey, we've made a very fast mana generator now, so I'm pretty happy with where we're at. Anyways, yeah, we'll be back next time to set up the orchid. We can more or less copy the system to the end, or to the nether, if we want to do the nether orchid. Right, we can just use an ender chest to send TNT to the end, copy all of this setup, and then that can get us the nether orchid, which turns nether rack into stuff. Yeah, this thing, it gives like relative weights for the stuff. But we'll have to set one of these up eventually, because I don't really have access to nickel right now. I'm not really getting nickel, and this will be our source of nickel. But that's for another time. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care, and bye-bye.